Welcome. Let's inspect the Ice Nova of Frostbolts for a Hierophant. Ice Nova of Frostbolts triggers at the location of Frostbolt, which is a separate spell that has to be cast too, but in this case it's triggered with Kitava's Thirst Helmet. Half the times you spend 100 mana. It cannot be Life or Energy Shield with Eldritch Battery. It has to be mana. Usually spells don't cost that much and you want to cast them at a discount, but with Archmage support it almost definitely will cost over 100 mana. This support gem increases the mana cost of the skill based on the total unreserved mana, but also adds lightning damage from the same source. The most obvious archetype for a mana stacking character is Hierophant with its Sanctuary of Thought and Divine Guidance. It increases maximum mana, grants Transfiguration of Mind, and upgrades your mind over matter to make your mana pool take half of all damage you receive. It provides you with tons of energy shield, halves mana cost of skills, and doubles your AoE. Arcane Blessing grants you 20% more damage and Conviction of Power, Power and Endurance charges for increased critical strike chance, resistances, and reduced physical damage taken. The mana cost will grow so high that seeking mana cost reduction and mana regeneration is crucial to not run dry. The Ice Nova deals now mainly lightning damage. This version of Ice Nova also casts 4 times per cast, given you have enough Frostbolts to accommodate them, which you will have. The build is very durable with its Corrupted Soul that redistributes damage to be taken from Energy Shield and Life at the same rate, which you will leech at the same time. We're also using the Lore Weave and Eternal Damnation combo. Most of the damage is absorbed by Arcane Cloak if it's up. Clear speed is average, depending mostly on the cast and movement speed. All the minor enemies die instantly. The boss damage is great. You can scale it up extremely high with expensive gear. It's an expensive build. It requires a lot of stats like mana, life, cast speed, and chaos resistance to function properly. Kitava's Thirst Helmet, Anathema Ring, Eternal Damnation Amulet, and Loreweave Body Armor are mandatory gear pieces. Eternal Damnation requires you to cap your chaos resistance, which can be challenging. Hands of the High Templar will be great too if you manage to find a pair with the right implicits. Kitava's Thirst has a 50% chance to cast Frostbolts and 2 curses each time you spend 100 mana. That's why you need a lot of cast speed and your Ice Nova has to cost at least 100 mana. Loreweave, your resistances are fixed, your crit chance is increased, and it has some life, mana, energy shield, elemental damage, and attributes. Great with Eternal Damnation. We recommend Hands of the High Templar with 2 curses on hit. These can be Punishment, Enfeeble, or Elemental Weakness. It saves you sockets and buttons to press. You can also gain base crit chance, increased cast speed, more life, or energy shield as other implicits, which you can have up to 5 of. The base version has good stats, but no maximum mana. With your chaos resistance at 78%, Eternal Damnation reduces elemental damage taken by 38%, which is a stupidly high number. It also has mana. Wear Loreweave so the downside will not apply. Use Anathema to be able to apply more than 1 curse. We recommend allocating 1 additional maximum power charge from the skill tree that combined with Conviction of Power will extend this limit to 5. These are Conductivity, Elemental Weakness, Assassin's Mark, Punishment, and Enfeeble. We recommend the Parandus Pact for more chaos resistance or maximum mana. Socket it near overcharge. You will need to change Eternal Youth into Corrupted Soul with the Doriani's variant, Glorious Vanity Jewel. Your maximum life and ES are more or less equal and you should leech both at the same time. Watcher's Eye. Determination has some defensive modifiers, but Clarity has Mana Recoup, chance to recover 10% of mana when you use a skill, a portion of damage taken from mana before life, and maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield, which are excellent mods in this build. Almost all of your flat damage is gained from mana via Archmage support, so you don't need any sources of added damage. Your mana also absorbs half of all incoming damage before it reaches your life or energy shield. You shall set the cost of your Ice Nova to 100 or more. Archmage increases mana cost depending on how much mana you have in total. Energy shield is gained from life with a Corrupted Soul keystone and from mana with Sanctuary of Thought. To recover life and energy shield, get Leech from the skill tree. To recover mana, you can seek increased mana regeneration mods, but the skill tree and clarity should provide you with enough mana recovery. On your 2 wands, look for increased cast speed and damage, elemental or lightning. Maximum mana is very important too, alongside global critical strike modifiers, especially crit chance, as it's extremely hard to cap your crit chance for Ice Nova. You don't need added damage or increased skill gem level. Boots, maximum life and mana with movement speed are of utmost importance. For suffixes, get as much resistances as you can afford, especially chaos resistance. It has to be capped. For Eldritch mods, get action speed and life regeneration or ailment avoidance. Rare gloves may get you more mana, life, and resistances. Be aware of some extremely useful incursion suffixes. For Eldritch mods, get life leech and chance to unnerve on hit. On a belt, look for as much mana, life, and resistances as you can afford, including chaos resistance. The ring should have a lot of chaos resistance and some dexterity. Maximum life, mana, cast speed, global critical strike mods, and mana regeneration rate can be found here as well. Maximum life, mana, dexterity, chaos resistance, and crit mods are the most valuable ones on a duel. You could use it with the Adorned, as we plan to host up to 5 of these. Large cluster duel, the scintillating idea is the most important notable. Stormdrinker grants ES Leech, Doriani's Lesson, Life Leech. Other notables provide you mostly with damage. You can also go for medium and small cluster duels with a scintillating idea, as it's extremely fitting. You take a lot less cold than physical damage, especially from large hits. Shifting a portion of physical damage to be taken as cold via Taste of Hate will drastically reduce damage taken and make your armor more effective. Progenesis is good with your rapid life recovery. It causes a portion of hit damage to be taken as DOT instead. For magic flasks, we recommend Granite, Diamond, Quicksilver, and Silver flasks. Their suffixes should increase your armor, cast speed, critical strike chance, and reduce the effect of curses on you. Ice Nova of Frostbolts allows you to cast up to 4 Ice Novas at the location of 4 Frostbolts. If there are no Frostbolts nearby, it works like a regular Ice Nova. It should cost at least 100 mana. Link it up with Archmage for added lightning damage, Spell Echo which doubles your cast per skill use, Inspiration Awakened Lightning Penetration at level 5, and increased critical damage if your crit chance is high. If it's not, swap it for Intensify and allocate the Intensify caster mastery. In your helmet you will socket the following setup. Frostbolts, whose role is to be a proxy from which Ice Nova is being cast. Greater volley support to conjure more Frostbolts and 2 curses. Conductivity that lowers lightning resistance and 1 extra curse like Punishment, Enfeeble, or Elemental Weakness. Arcane Cloak consumes most of your mana to form a protective shield. It prevents 75% of incoming hit damage. Link it up with increased duration, Arcane Surge, and automation to cast it automatically. Eternal Blessing support allows you to have only 1 mana reserving aura but makes it completely free. It is Determination in our case. We need that extra armor. You can swap it for Zealotry if you don't mind dying. You need Clarity. Reserve some of your life with Arrogant support to have it. Clarity regenerates your mana over time. Assassin's Mark increases your critical strike chance and damage against the marked enemy. Your cast speed is very high, that's why Frostblink of Wintry Blast may be a better choice than the regular Frostblink. Link it with faster casting support. Sigil of Power adds lightning damage and causes enemies to deal less damage while inside of the sigil. It grows in power after spending mana. Ancestral Cry adds extra armor. Link it to the call to arms support to cast it automatically. This setup should be omitted if you don't have Hands of the High Templar gloves with 2 curses on hit. If that's the case, get the 2 missing curses and link them with Arcanist Brand. These are elemental, weakness, enfeeble, or punishment. Kill all the bandits and be rewarded with 2 extra passive skill points. Helping Alira may be equally good. She grants elemental resistances, mana regeneration, and crit multiplier, all valued in this build. Get the Brine King for freeze immunity, reduced effective chill on you, and protection against being stunned multiple times in a row. Solaris can be swapped for if you plan to fight some kind of pinnacle boss. Aberrath is good as always, but in this case it may be less so. Your regeneration is already very good. Garokan may fit here. It reduces the effect of shock on you by 60%. On the passive skill tree, you shall seek mana, spell lightning damage, critical strike nodes for spells, maximum life, cast speed, and reduced mana cost of skills. Allocate the Light Eater with its mastery to make 10% of Leech instant, Mind over Matter Keystone, and Eternal Youth that will be turned into Corrupted Soul. We have also gone for Asylum for Chaos Resistance. Get 3 mana masteries. For mana recoup, reduced mana cost, and 10% chance to gain 10% mana when you use a skill. For lightning mastery, let your increases to mana affect your shock. For the life mastery, get 50 extra life, and get 2 armor and energy shield masteries. One that causes 10% of your armor to affect chaos damage taken, and one that shifts 10% of physical damage to be taken as chaos. That is all we have to say about this build. You can like the video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel to not miss upcoming build guides. See you soon.